Good evening, all. Welcome to Conversations for the Soul, one good sip at a time with Dr. Angie and Yashica B, the Mindset Motivator. Thank you so much for joining our show this evening. We are excited because we have a guest speaker on that we believe will be very informative to us, and we believe that we will want to offer this information to you as a way that we can help others. And Conversations for the Soul is about having those conversations that are meaningful. We are real women having real talk about real issues. And what I'd like to do at this moment is introduce to you Yashica B, the Mindset Motivator.
Hey, Angie, how are you?
All right, how are you?
I'm good. See, I have a new look.
I see, all the time. I can't keep up.
But it's still me.
Yes.
It's still me. How has it been? How's your weekend?
Pretty good. Busy, but pretty
I know
good.
you were talking in church again today. I just want you to know that. So, hey.
Oh, no, I was doing it again. I stayed in trouble.
I was thinking about saying, how she would be live at church that she in church, but yet texting us. I started to get you. I said, I ain't going to do it, though. I was somebody on the screen, though. You saying stuff on the screen. I said, how she paying attention?
That's my ministry, girl. I got to be. I was assigned.
Oh, it's a ministry now.
Yeah, I was assigned. You know, I don't even like Facebook like that, but
I said, now how she paying attention? And she up here talking to people on here. That's okay.
Oh no, I'm paying attention. I'm definitely paying attention.
I know.
But I need that word. I need it.
But it would not be me if I don't mess with you about it, because I have to do that. That's my job. I think that's part of my mission, my Sunday mission.
I believe so. I definitely believe that's the case. I'm glad you realize it. Now you know that you're doing exactly what you were called to do, and I believe that it is to be my nemesis, but it's all good.
Interrupt you doing prayer. Yes, that's me. Well, I am so glad to be among the living. As you know, as the older people used to say, now that I'm 46, I'm starting to say these things too. I'm glad to be among the living.
How about that?
And I'm on this side of the dirt, so I'm happy. So tonight's conversation, we are going to dive deep a little bit. We're going to talk about something that we've tackled some pretty good conversations, I think, over the course of our show. But tonight we're going to talk about organ donation, transplants, and we're going to learn a little bit, because I don't know a lot about that world. However, there is truly a need, and we have a young man that's coming up to join Dr. Angie and I, who has been on both ends. He's been a recipient and also is needing another kidney. So we're going to talk to, his name is Louis Rosario, and we're going to bring him up and let him introduce himself, and we're going to have a really good conversation. So, but before we do bring Louis up, I would like for everybody to please do a woosfire, clear your mind, be open, and let go of any myths or anything that we think that we might know about this, because if you have not, I'm trying to tell you, if you have not been through a situation, we don't have a whole lot to talk about it. So we're going to listen to a subject matter expert, and I'm calling him that because, hey, I've never been in a situation either way he has. I don't know any personal, like, family members who have been through it. But so I'm all about getting ready to get some knowledge tonight and learn and see where we can help this young man and the others out there, because I know he's not the only one. Okay, so let's remember, what did you say? All hearts and minds, what they say?
If all hearts and minds are clear,
let us bring Louis on
forward.
Yes,
all right.
Let us bring Louis on up to stage. Yes.
In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and post that. I would love it for everyone to like and share. This is going to be one of those informative shows that we think would be beneficial to many. So please like, share, and subscribe.
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? How are you ladies doing today?
We're doing good. If you don't mind, Louis, tell us a little bit about Louis Rosario. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Luis Rosario. Originally from Puerto Rico, 37 years old. I can say I'm a military brat. Moved around a lot. My dad was in the military for 20 years, so we definitely moved around. So I'm, well traveled in that area. Also, kind of not born and raised, but grew up in Columbia, South Carolina. That's when my dad retired. And work-wise, traveled a lot, did a lot of things. And now with my situation, here at my mom's house, because she's my caretaker, because anything can happen at any time with my situation. So pretty much that's where I'm at right now. I'm currently employed still. I'm just on medical leave with American Airlines. So I was a flight attendant.
Oh, wait a minute. Time out. Wait, now, so I can get a buddy pass?
Huh?
So you can add me to
you. A buddy pass? I actually have a lot of buddy passes I can give out, to be honest. They're just sitting there. I don't even use the buddy passes.
Oh, let me slide you my number in your DM.
I don't even use the buddy passes. That's funny. I haven't used any of them. I have 16.
I was going to let you all talk, but I have to show my face so I can keep Yashica in line, because she gets out of line real quick, real easy. So I'm just going to show my face.
Let me get some buddy passes. So the conversation changed real quick.
Yes. So we have to watch her. That's my job.
Okay.
But
story. My job is to keep Yashica straight.
Okay. All right.
But on the serious side, though, you said your situation. So for our audience, because they don't know what the situation is, do you mind sharing what?
So I want to say 13 or 15. I was diagnosed with what you call IgA nephropathy. It's a rare kidney disease where it causes scar tissue damage on your kidneys. But along with that disease comes a lot of other different symptoms that go along with it that can affect your kidneys. And a lot of people don't know probably is blood pressure. Blood pressure is like the number one killer for your kidneys. So I always tell people now, man, if you have good insurance, get your yearly checkup, make sure that you're healthy. Because you never know. The way mine started was when I think I was 13. So I've been dealing with this since I was young. I woke up one day and I was urinating blood. So from that, my mom took me to the hospital a few times, and it's funny that the hospital said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with him." The first 3 or 4 times, they say, "Oh, there's nothing wrong. It's just he'll pass that. He might have like a kidney stone." So the first time that we went, we kind of like went with that answer because we didn't know. After the second and third time, my mom was kind of already frustrated and is like, "Can we just go somewhere else, and maybe can y'all refer us to an outside doctor?" And that's when they referred us to an outside doctor, and this was here in Columbia. And we went. They did a kidney biopsy of my kidneys. They kind of like saw that that the issue might have been my kidney, so they sent me to a nephrologist. And at that point, I was like 14, 15 years old. I remember the doctor coming into the room, and it was just me and my mom, and it's almost like a setting like this, a setting like this, and it was very like it was crazy. I can remember like it was like dark in his room, and he comes in and he's talking, and he's like, do you want me to tell you just out front? I was like, well, my mom was like, "Duh, this is why we're here. We need to know." He was like, "Well, look, your son has 30% scar tissue damage on his kidneys. That's very, very bad. And I'm telling you exactly like he almost told us. He's like, that's very, very bad. And I gave him 3 months, and we were like, 3 months of what? He's like, we give him 3 months to live.
At the age of 15?
At the age of 15, this is what this guy tells me, and me in front of my mom. He's like, I gave him about 3 months to live. So at that point, there's nothing saying, hey, let's try to help out, or anything. It was very weird. In my head, I'm like, 3 months to live. Like, what's going on right now?
Now, how long ago was that?
This was when I was 15.
Right.
I'm 37 now.
Okay, 25 years ago.
Yeah. So this is how it first started. He sent us to a nephrologist for the pediatrician side, that deals with everybody up to age of 17. And when we went to that doctor is when he said, "Nah, we're not listening to that doctor. We're gonna get you back healthy. He's like, you got your normal, you got your actual kidneys, so that is a good thing. So let's try to get those back. And I did everything the doctor said. I remember my mom, every natural remedy or juice that we can get, that she studied or looked up online, we had. I mean, mom.
Let's give a shout out to your mom right now, because she's shouting you out. She said you are her handsome warrior, and I just want you to be mindful of the fact that she is on here and she is congratulating you and all that good stuff for for your courage. And I wanted to just take a moment out for us to just shout her out, because as Dr. Gray says, it's important to have an advocate who will insist on better care. Huge shout out to your mother. So we just wanted to shout you out there, Mom.
Oh, yeah, no, she's definitely been behind me all the way. I mean, my dad too, but my mom's definitely been behind me all the way. So yeah, no, we did everything. And so around the age of 17 is when, like 17, I want to say, I went back and my kidneys were back at normal stage. I had no issues. The disease had kind of stayed back a little bit, if you want to say, kind of like died down. The only thing about this disease is it comes back and it can go away. Like the doctors told me, it can stay away for years, for my lifetime, or it can come back at any time, and that's when it gets worse. But throughout the years, I honestly think, like, and that's why I advocate, please, like, and I tell all my friends, man, like, if you see anything wrong, like, y'all can't be scared of going to the doctors, because you never know. You never know what can happen. And I feel like if I can reverse the times, I would have done some stuff a lot different, and I would have.
Let's talk about that for a moment. Like, what would you have actually done differently?
I mean, again, like I was saying, I've always had great jobs, and I've always had great insurance. So after that, and it's like everybody, I'm 17. I graduated from high school. I did everything all the young adults do, partied, had a good time. I just felt like I could have, you can do that, but at the same time, take care of yourself. And I did part A, and I think I did it backwards. I did the partying, which was really part B, and then part A, take care of myself. I reversed that. I didn't take care of myself. And I felt like if I probably would have never been in this situation, because down the road I think my blood pressure is what actually ended up eating away at my kidneys little by little by little by little, and my body got used to it. My body got used to my blood pressure. So when I had that high blood pressure, I didn't notice because my body was already used to it. So I just pushed through all that. Until I talked to Yashica the other day. One day I woke up and my vision was really, really blurry.
Wow. So I can speak to high blood pressure a little bit. And that's one of those things that they call the silent killer, particularly in people of color, that we go for long periods of times without realizing that we have high blood pressure, and it is something that can induce a stroke. So that's why it's something that we need to pay attention to. And every time you go to the doctor, get your blood pressure taken. Every time you go to the dentist, get your blood pressure taken. Just stay up on that. When you go in the stores and you see those little blood pressure machines, stick your arm in there and just do that, because it's so critical. And start paying attention to what your baseline is and figuring out, what if your blood pressure is higher than usual, is it situational? But you have to be in tune with that. Sorry, I didn't mean to take off, but I got in trouble from my doctor for my own blood pressure. So I just wanted to.
No. I mean, that's and you said with people of color, if you walk into a dialysis unit, and I've been in a lot. When I used to travel with it, I used to kind of like go into dialysis. It's 90%. It's minorities. It's African Americans, Latinos. You very rarely see any Caucasian people in dialysis. It's at least here in the unit I'm in, it's probably 90% African American, and then us like Latinos, just minorities. Period. Just period. Minorities. And I talked to a lot of them, and a lot of them say it's because they're in there because of their blood pressure or diabetes. Diabetes is another issue with a lot of the dialysis patients.
And what do you attribute that to? Do you have any idea why that is?
You know, when we're on dialysis, they do very very well like on the checkups, and I think it's just the food that we eat, just not being healthy. A lot of they, I mean, because they when they do our tests, they make sure that we're eating healthy. The sugar levels are good. They also take, you know, even though I'm not diabetic, they take my blood sugar level all the time to check that, because being on dialysis, I can't basically get rid of a lot of the toxins. So a lot of the toxins do stay in my body that you get rid of when you do go to the bathroom, like urinate and stuff like that. So because a lot of people on dialysis, and a lot of people may not know this, they don't urinate. That's it. They stop. So dialysis basically little by little. Some people do, and those are kind of like the very few lucky ones. I want to say, because they don't have to worry about fluid intake too much. But those that don't, for me. So for me, example, I haven't touched. I haven't urinated in 3 years. So you know, so it's and a lot of people don't know that. You know.
Wow.
Thank you for being so transparent on that. But I want to go back for 1 second, because we skipped over a part. Now you've had a kidney transplant.
I have, yes.
At what age?
I got my first kidney transplant when I was this was when March, so 4 years ago. So I was 33.
So you went from the age of 15 being told you had 3 months to live till, what was that, all the way up to 33 before you had a
29. Remember when I said I woke up and I kind of started seeing that my blood pressure was an issue?
Right.
I went to the doctors that day, and they were like, they said, hey, you're fine. They gave me some Tylenol. They gave me some ibuprofen, and I remember that they gave me, this was, I was living in California. They gave me some ibuprofen and said, you're good to go. So I'm like, okay, you know. But I kept having that issue, so I finally went to a different doctor, and they did some tests, and that's when he was like, he's like, I got some bad news. He says, you know, you're pretty bad, because my energy levels was low. I lost a lot of weight. I was getting skinny. I was getting tired a lot more often than usual. So my energy wasn't there. So when I went there, he basically mentioned that my kidneys were done. He gave me a few days, like, meaning like he said, here, I'm gonna give you a few days to kind of get your things in order, but you got to come back and you're gonna have to start dialysis. And at that point, I didn't know what that was. You know, so he kind of explained it to me, but not a lot. I didn't think that it was gonna be as rough as it was when I started. But 3 days later, I came back. This was like when I was 30, and I mean, I have marks all over right there. You can see it. They stuck a tube right down there, boom, and I had tubes coming out, and there was like, he was like, we gotta start dialysis right away, boom. I was like, okay, you know. But I ever since then, it was just a long road ahead. But so then at 33, my uncle, I moved to Texas because my dad was my caretaker for a little bit. At that point, my dad and my stepmom, I stayed with them. And in Texas, we did a like that transplant hospital, and my uncle actually was able to give me a kidney. So at 33, I got my first kidney. Yeah. So I was only on dialysis for about a year that go around. But it was a rough year.
So one of the things that's a very compelling story. Like, I want to hear more about that, and I want us to understand what you've already been through, but I also want us to understand the road that you still have ahead of you. But there's something that we mentioned in there that I want to make sure we don't lose with regard to people of color and high blood pressure and diabetes and all that. And that is that from a historical point of view, we were given foods. We were left with foods that nobody else wanted. Those foods have now created in our, somebody online said, genetics. So having had the wrong diet, or not necessarily the wrong diet, but not knowing how certain foods affect our blood pressure and certain foods affect our diabetes and those things, our sugar. When we look at those things, we don't know because we haven't been educated. Also, another piece to that is, which was really highlighted in the COVID piece, was the fact that our health providers, A, we don't go to the doctors as much as others, and B, when we do go to the doctor, they're not as attentive to us and our needs as what we need to be, and they're not specialized in the needs of people of color, because people of color have a different system. Yeah, we all have the same things, but everything affects us differently, and that was highlighted during the COVID pandemic, and that the whole piece of the COVID. So I don't want that to be lost. But one of the things that you said that really kind of stuck out to me was, you said that you did the partying first and then you did the taking care of yourself. And this is something that Yashica and I speak about all the time. We must really learn to take care of ourselves. When we're not taking care of ourselves, everything is affected. So Yashica, I know that's your thunder, that's your lane right there. So I don't want to take that lane, but.
And also I want Luis to touch on something else too, because I know we talked about the people called African American side of it, but he also, this disease that he has, tell us about that disease, how that disease is not supposed to show up in your community.
So so it's very rare. It's not something that Hispanics actually get. When I got diagnosed, he actually did say that, he was like, I don't know how you got this. He said it's very rare for a Hispanic to get this certain disease. This certain disease we see in Asians, and I think he said in like the Russians and the Caucasian sides, but it's very, very rare. I mean, like I'm maybe like in the 5-10 percentile. I don't know what. So it's when even now when I tell the doctors and they ask me, the nephrologist, what I have, they're like, okay. He's like, that's strange that you have that, because a lot of Latinos don't get that. But I mean, we do have, I want to say we do kind of like share the same foods and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And that, so that's why you see a lot of minorities in dialysis, probably with diabetes and stuff like that. But the majority is diabetes, and then you got me with like a certain type of immune disease. But yeah, mine basically affects the kidneys, and it affects it in the way that it scars it up, and all those scar tissue damage, then don't let it filter out toxins properly, and they end up closing up the kidney, and then there's really nothing else that it can do. It just shuts down at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so we know that at 33 you had a kidney transplant. So where are we now? What's going on now?
Well, so it lasted 4 years. So I'm back on the transplant list now. Which everyone, regardless of your age or disease, you have to go to testing, and they make sure that you're an actual healthy candidate, meaning in the sense that they know if we give you another kidney, you're gonna do right by it, because it's your second go around. So and they also kind of see what happened with the first one. Why did the first one fail at that point? And they, to this day, I've never really gotten an answer on it, on why, not a concrete answer. Like I've gotten different things on, hey, you didn't take your medicine the way you took it, you're supposed to take it, or B, maybe you were not eating the best of the best, or your health diet was not where you're supposed to be at. So I haven't got the concrete answer on why it failed, but I am back to this point. And this, the first go around was I had one really bad scare. I actually suffered a stroke. on my first dialysis treatment. This was a few days after I actually got to Texas. I suffered a stroke, and I was dumb. I was deemed permanently blind for a week.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
I was blind. I don't
Mhm.
remember a lot about that incident because I
Mhm.
guess your memory kind of taps that out or
Right.
blocks that out. That trauma to like that huge trauma.
Mhm.
The reason I remember is because I mean I remember bits and pieces. I remember talking to my mom one day, um, and she's telling me everything is gonna be fine. Like tomorrow you're gonna wake up and you'll see. You're gonna see. You're gonna get your vision back. You know. And my dad was there with me the whole time, and he said it was crazy because I'm not a big hospital guy. I hate the hospitals as much as I live there. It's I hate the hospitals. As soon as they released me, I'm like I already have my clothes on. I was like I'm gone. I'm out of here. Um, but my dad said I was very calm throughout that whole time, and that last day before the doctor was giving my dad the pamphlets on physical therapy, how to basically start a new life because I go from having vision all my life to now I'm deemed blind. um, I wake up and I start seeing that next day, the day after I talked to my mom. But I
Say it.
got my phone right here, so I'm literally looking at my phone like this. Um, and my dad's friends in there, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm saying, "Man, I got like 100 text messages." He's like, "But you cannot see." He's like, "What's going on right now?" I was like, "No, I can see. I just can't really see. Like it's very, very blurry." And he runs out and tells my dad, and my dad, he's kind of like at the point like, "Hey, come on, man, like." The joke's over. Like but the doctor, everybody started crying that day because I wasn't supposed to see at all. I was they did an MRI, and that part where I guess that vision was cut. He says he was like the doctor to this day probably if he sees me now he's like there's no way that he got his vision back. There's just no possible way. I mean, of course I know what it is, and it's God, and he works miracles, and I know my mom was definitely praying.
Praying mom.
I prayed with her the day before that day, and that's just like this crazy because my memory and vision were gone, but out of all that, that's like the little bit that I do remember is me talking to my mom that day, her telling me everything was going to be fine, and then the next day I started getting my vision back. And then now I don't know if I got 20/20 vision, but I got good vision now. But that was very rough for me. And then this go around has been very, very rough for me too. I've the Greenville Hospital. They probably know me by my first name as much as I've been in there.
Mhm.
It's been a rough 3 years. But if you didn't know me, like if you just met me, as right now, I look healthy. I'm always smiling. I'm always
Mhm.
positive energy. I try to keep a positive energy, a positive aura around me because I feel like that's just great karma. You know what I mean? And positive energy brings positive people around you. So at the same time, I'm going through my own trials and tribulations, and I need that positive energy around, because if not, it does get to me at days. I have my days, but for the most part, I do pretty well with it.
Wow. You know, that was one of the things that when I met you, how positive you was, and a big smile, that contagious smile. It was like this huge. So, here I go. I came home to my daughter and said, "Hey, look at this picture right here." Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So one other thing I do want us to talk about too was that so some of the people can understand. I learned so much from that conversation with him. I did not know that there's a time frame. If Louis is called and they have a match, and then it's a difference between a non-living and a living as far as your
Yeah.
time frame. Can we talk about that a little bit for our audience so they can understand what we mean when we say we need a donor? What does that mean?
So there's of course when you're on a transplant list,
Mhm.
if you get called from the hospital for example, I'm not listed at MUSC currently, but I did put papers in for Augusta and Charlotte to kind of expand the hospitals, because each hospital has its own list, and that's kind of how they go by. And each state also has a time frame on O positive, B positive, A positive, on how long those certain types of blood types in those certain areas can get a kidney. I'm O positive, so with the deceased donor. So if MUSC calls me, and that can call me at anytime during the day, anytime during the night, I have 3 hours to get there. I have 3 hours to get to the hospital, and that's why I'm here with my mom currently. I really can't, be anywhere else. I have to be 3 hours away from any hospital that I'm listed at, because once I get there, it's not a for sure thing either. So once I get there, they got the kidney, then they do the test on me to see that the kidney is gonna match when they put it in my body. Meaning like my antibodies are not gonna attack the kidney, my immune system, and then waste that kidney. But there's a big difference between a living donor and a deceased kidney, because just of the like the health factor. A living donor, of course, if they're healthy, that kidney is going to be in good shape. And, it's going to be working good. And the deceased donor, they let you know there's a lot of instances where that deceased donor may have a certain issue or something like that, and they'll ask you in the beginning, hey, like for example, let's just say this person had hepatitis. They'll say, hey, this guy had hepatitis. This is what he passed away with. Do you still want that kidney? So that kidney, there's people that have had and I've seen it because I'm in some different forums. There's people that have had like hepatitis B, hepatitis C, AIDS. They'll let them know. But a lot of people don't know is that doesn't transfer over, so just because that person has that doesn't mean that you're gonna get that, so it's not like something that transfers over like that. Oh, I'm gonna get a hepatitis B kidney, so I'm gonna have hepatitis B. It's not like that. And that's like a big myth. And that's something that a lot of people don't. A lot of people in my kidney support group that I see in Facebook, they won't take it. They won't take it. They because you can deny the kidney. You can say, no, I'll wait. But then, I don't know if that looks bad. I don't know about me, but I don't think I'll deny it. I'm taking it. And we'll go from there. But it's it's a process too. Just, for a donor, it's a process. It's like almost like a month process.
And so let me ask, so you said it's about a month process. So if that's for a living donor, so they can
test the person. Take the exams, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, okay, so if you have a living person, how is that as far as the procedure? So are you down, or do you have like when we have kids, we got like 6 weeks, or what happens?
So for example, I use my uncle as an example. My uncle is very active. Very active. So when he got basically the A-OK on he was good to go. We waited a few months because he was in school at the time. He's like, hey, let me finish school, and then the day after I graduate, we can take the exam. We can go and take the surgery. So I was down for, I want to say, a month. Because my recovery and the way that when they do the surgery on the actual recipient, it's a lot different than the actual donor. The donor is 3 little slits, and I mean it's literally like 1 little cut under your belly button and like 2 to the left and to the right, and they do everything telescopically. I forgot, I can't really say the word.
Yeah, but right, telescopically.
Yeah. And that's how they remove the kidney from the living donor. So my uncle was out, I want to say, in 3 days. He was out in 3 days, and I think on like the next week he was already running a marathon. He wasn't supposed to, but he ran a marathon. I forgot what he did. He did something, but he went running. He did say his the stitches came open a little bit, and he was bleeding a little bit, but that was it. But it didn't slow him down at all. So if you're like perfectly healthy, that's why the exams, they're very thorough when it comes to living donors, because they want to make sure, because you can live all your life with 1 kidney, but they want to make sure that there's no underlying issues, that if you give someone, I want to say life, because you're giving them life, you're giving them their life back. that yours down the line may not get affected because now you have one kidney, and let's say you have high blood pressure that affects your kidneys and stuff like that. So they want to make sure that everything is okay.
So with the living donors, is that typically a family member, or can it be anyone?
Anybody that is healthy and is willing to donate. The reason I wanted to come here and also share this is because I think a lot of people think when I say, hey, it's O positive, they think, oh, well, I'm not O positive, so I can't donate to you. Well, you actually can. So being that I'm O positive, I can only receive O positive. O positive people can donate to anybody. But let's say someone that's very, very healthy and it's they're B positive or something like that. For example, every single hospital have what they call it's like a mix and match program. So what they do is they go through their system. Let's say he's perfectly healthy and he goes through the exams and he is A-okay to donate. But since he can't donate to me, then they'll go through their system and find someone that maybe is B positive that needs that kidney. And let's say that they have a person that's O positive that can't give them a kidney. So then we'll all go in at the same time. They set everything up and we'll all go in at the same time. And all four of us will have surgery at the same time.
Right. That's
So
what I was alluding
to. Be the same blood type. That's one thing that stops a lot of people. Like, hey man, I'm not O positive, I can't donate. And not just to me, to anybody. You know what I mean? So you don't have to be a family member. We've had several people that weren't family this year take the test, and one lady did make it very, very far. Unfortunately, they saw some blood pressure issues with her, or she was pre-diabetic numbers, and her doctor said no, she's perfectly fine, but MUSC still denied it, and they're like, no, we're gonna not take that risk with her. So so that's where I was at on that one. I mean, we've had some other people say they were taking the test, but it's I'm blessed just to have the people say that they're gonna do it. They do it. If they don't, they don't. That my thing is I gotta push through regardless. And I mean, like I said, I have my family here. I'll talk to my family. I got my friends that I talk to every day. So I'm pretty much in a good space. I have my days, but
what efforts have you all made thus far in terms of curing a kidney? Like what have you done internally? What have you done?
We try to use my platform on Instagram. My mom shares it on Facebook all the time, and it gets more and more shares every day. And we do give some people from there that text us and say, hey, I want to donate. And all we can do at that time is give the information. Because even if I call MUSC and say, hey, has anybody called? They won't give me that information. Because they don't want, the way they do it is they don't want, I guess, the recipient to get upset if that person backs out. That's giving them the kidney, like they back out because they either get nervous or something comes out. They don't want them to get upset and then go in a different route. That's what I'm thinking. That's why they don't give that information out. But we've had several people start the exams. I haven't had any word yet on anything, but we definitely have shared it on Facebook, Instagram, and we constantly share it. My mom gets upset because I just don't talk about it as much. I feel like when it comes, but my mom says, it can come a lot faster if we spread the word and just inform people on what goes on and just kidney donation period.
Wow, there's a lot there, but along those lines,
bring Madeline's comment up for me, please. Is Madeline Lewis?
Okay, give me a moment, please.
Okay.
So at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice that Lewis's mom's phone number is scrolling there, and her name is Yvonne. She is on with us. She has given us permission to give her phone number for anyone that has questions or concerns that they want to address to find out if they are an appropriate donor or whatever. Her phone number is 803-513-0888. 0166. So I wanted to.
And also, I'm gonna throw this out there because I'm off. This address the elephant in the room too. It's not really an elephant anyway. It's always money involved. So y'all, so everybody, our people, our guests, don't get all scared, because think about it like this: if his mom is having to help or you having to leave, there's always going to need a financial assistance. So even mom is there. If we can help her, you guys, to send something. Just put it in your heart. Put it in, maybe skip tithes. Let that be your tithes for the week to help this family out, because that means something. Because to be a caregiver, I understand caregiving. I was a caregiver for my husband for 2.5 years. When you have someone, that takes a lot. Somebody has to stop working. A lot of times it's both of you. It's the person and the caregiver. So, so things become challenging, including a gallon of milk. So if you can donate something, please send something, or we're going to give more links. We're going to keep on keeping Louis, and Louis, we're going to just kind of like adopt him for our show, so we can kind of help out where we can. And I know we're going through times or whatever, but I just want to put that out there. We are talking about the kidney. We are talking about trying to find a donor, but we also want to go ahead and make sure we put monetary on there too, if at all possible, that we could send something, gift cards, something to help this family out, because I don't know. Our ghost started barking, so I could not hear, because we talked about when they go to the hospital, because somebody has to go with him. And this is the second go around. He explained this to me. So that means that they're going to have to be there for 2 or 3 weeks. Is that right? Am I correct?
So this go around, from what I know, MUSC, the way they do it is, so we have to go down there and we have to stay down there for like 2 weeks at a hotel. After I do the surgery, I'm there for like 3-4 days. I get released, but they want me there in Charleston area for like 2-3 weeks to make sure that the kidney kind of is working functionally. They don't want me to go super far and something happen all of a sudden, because I'm right by the hospital. But yeah, no, it's this one's a little bit different. So I know they said those are gonna be like out of pocket. They even told me to say make sure you save a little bit of money for the hotel room and stuff like that, because insurance just won't cover that. But so when that time comes, that's going to be the process for that. And then from what I know, the person that donates, they're usually out of the hospital in like 3-4 days. So they're released and they're ready to, they can go home. They can, go back to wherever they need to, like their families if they're out of town. But they're only there for like 3-4 days, if that at the max, depending on how they feel. And I see Madeline, she said she had she was on the transplant list for like what, 7 years or something.
10 years. She received it, I think, 10 years ago. Okay, 7 years ago, and was on the list for 10 years.
For about 10 years, yeah. So some people are on the list for a while. I've been on it now 3 years. This is about to hit 3. So like I said, this one's been a long go round, and a lot of complications on this one. I've been in the hospital, like I said, a lot of times. I was in the hospital for a month. One time I caught pneumonia due to the dialysis. I guess I carried a lot of extra fluids, and that seeped into my lungs. So that was rough. That was a rough period. And then just with just regular kidney issues, going in, making sure everything is good. And my arm, the dialysis access, it gets clotted every now and then. I have to go in and get that declotted. So there's a lot that goes on. So yeah, no, 10 years. No, there's a lot of people that have been on for a while. I'm kind of curious to see on what her blood type was. If she can type that in.
Let me see. Madeline, he wanted to know your. I know she's listening. She can hear it. Madeline, if you can tell us what your blood type is, if you don't mind, and see if she can type it in if she heard it. So because.
Yeah, that plays in your blood type, and where you live at it plays a big role on your call and your age too. Of course, the younger you are, the faster you go up on the list.
Oh, the younger you are, the faster you go up.
Yes. The younger you are, the kind of you're a little bit higher on the list than someone that's 37, rather than someone that's 20. They get put up on the list. It's rough. Yeah, it's a rough one. She has type A plus. Type A.
Because when I was talking to you, I learned a lot about that too, because in the military also, we always have to know our blood types, because O positive can give to anybody. So when you said that, I'm thinking, it's okay, we can get in, but I didn't know we couldn't receive. I said,
No,
so
we can't.
all this time, I did not know that. I did not know
We can give
that.
to anybody, but we can only receive O positive.
Yep. I had no.
I think, like I was telling you, I think O negative can go both ways. There's a blood type that can go both ways. But we're definitely not really, we're basically the universal donors, but we can't.
Yeah, but we can't. Yeah. That's why I was like, wow, that was just something that because I remember going to base training and said, oh, we love you, O positive, because they just love the O positive.
Yeah, because you can get blood, you can donate to anybody. If there's something if they need blood transfusion, you can stick that arm out and you'll be good to go. That's why they love you, I think. You're good to go on that.
And
that's the issue I have now with the transplant. It's kind of, but a lot of people don't know that you can be any type. You can be any type, any blood type. So.
And another thing that I found that was very, very interesting too is when I'm thinking, okay, what if you need a kidney? Then everybody in the world knows you need a kidney, but it's not like that because of the fact that you're just specific to hospitals because of the travel time. And so I just didn't know that because I've been watching too many TV shows. You know how they used to put them on the jet and they fly them across. But again, I guess that's why they went. So they had to put them on the private helicopters to get them there and quickly and stuff like that. So this stuff, I guess it does have some kind of truth to it. And however, but one other thing I did want to touch on while we still have time is just a little bit in our community. We want to talk about the stigma on being a donor. Because we are, you said 90% of the people in the dialysis center look like me, but yet I think we're less than 5% on the actual donors.
Yeah.
Right. Because we have so many things, but yet we need, but we're not doing. So I just wanted to address that a little bit to ask people to give blood, get tested. My sister told me she was on a donor list. I'm not on a donor list because I remember the myth. So if you're black and y'all know me. If you're black and you on a donor list and something happens, they ain't gonna save you because they're gonna want your body part. We live all this kind of stuff. We have all this stuff that go on in our communities, even from the COVID thing. And I had to square somebody away the other day telling me about, if you get the vaccination, they tried. I said, listen. They can't annihilate us because everybody is taking it. So that means every culture, come on now, you common sense on that one. That one kind of like goes out the window, right? So, and again, since I did bring up COVID, I want to just address the community on this one too. A situation like Louise, that's another reason why we need to wash our hands, wear the mask, because you don't know look how healthy he looks, and you don't know who's to the right or to the left of you. So, and he's already had pneumonia, so you could compromise him. And I know I don't care about you. Well, you should care about somebody else. You should care because it just makes sense. Because that was one of the things that that drove me to go ahead and get it done because I am a healthy person, and I could not understand or either just live with that, knowing that I'm healthy and I could have been carrying because I'm a healthy person, and then someone's not healthy would have contracted because I didn't even know I was carrying. So therefore I went ahead and made that my business, and everybody in here. And so I just I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm just asking you to look at some facts instead of looking at the myths and all that kind of stuff. I want you to start just digging a little bit, go a little bit beyond the mailbox to get some information, a little bit past the Google heading. It's the thing called Google Scholar in there too for all you Google people that gives you some real information. It's a little bit, so let's get a little bit past the Facebook medical team, okay? That's my little 2 cents.
There's definitely a lot of Facebook medical team out there for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, I know I got my vaccines, but I being on dialysis, they make us get all our vaccines. Like that's one thing that the transplant hospital also makes you kind of like, if hey, you need to get these vaccines. And I do everything that the transplant hospital has me to do because that's who gives you the A-OK on. All right, he's good to go. He's doing this. He's going through his dialysis treatments. Like I don't miss a treatment. I stayed there all my hours, other than when my blood pressure drops. I have a big issue with my blood pressure dropping. And I don't know if anybody's had their blood pressure drop. Maybe Madeline, she's been through dialysis. That's the scariest feeling in the world. That's just a very, very scary feeling. So and I've blacked out in dialysis. I've done all that with my blood pressure dropping. This is like this go around because of just at the end of the treatment, my body's gone through it so much with the just cleaning the blood that it just lowers it and lowers and lowers until the end. It's just like I can't anymore. My body just can't. So,
Wow.
but
So,
yeah.
Luis, we are coming to the close of our show, but I wanted to just give you this opportunity to really hone in on the things that we can do prior to needing a kidney. And basically, what I'm saying, that piece that you spoke of before with regard to self care. And then once we find ourselves in this situation, what can we do to make it better? And then, thirdly, what advice would you give to us in terms of being able to be connected to, because we have some comments coming on with regard to being connected and helping out and being part of that community. How can we do those things? One, what kind of self-care would you recommend? And two, once you find yourself in the situation, how can you handle it? What should you do? And then thirdly, what can we as a community do?
So when I first got diagnosed, for the self-care part, like I said, I feel like I don't tell because I like to go out, I like to have fun. I'm just a fun person. But live your life, of course, but be responsible, and at the same time, just make sure you're healthy. Like a lot of people got great insurance, and I feel like there's a stigma on hospitals and doctors, and a lot of people are scared to go to the doctor, or are scared to. And I'm definitely one of them. I was always been one of them. I'm because once I got this issue, because I was always scared of the result. I was always scared of what that doctor may say, so I wouldn't go because I didn't want to hear any negative feedback. I would say, well, if I don't hear anything, then I'm okay.
No news,
But
good news, huh?
yeah, but going back, you need that feedback, because if he would have told me, hey, your blood pressure is this, you need to take some pills, I would have just did that. So it's and everybody has different symptoms, when it comes down to it. But the self-care is really, really, really important. I think it's just live your life, eat. I don't want to say, I'm not going to sit here and say you got to eat healthy and do smoothies all day and do juicing and none of that, because a lot of people can live their life eating whatever they want to eat, and everybody's different, everybody's body is different. But if you feel like something is going on and that's not normal for you, go get it checked up. Like, just don't be scared. And I know my sister's here, she's like, oh yeah, because I even to this day now, if I can push through it, I'm gonna push through it until I can't go no more, and I'm like, all right, let's go to the hospital. Because I bring my own bag and everything, because I know. They're like, why you bring it back? Because I was like, I'm gonna stay. I already know I'm a normal here. Like once I get here, y'all gonna say he needs to be admitted for a day or two for a checkup. So I bring my bag. And just for the awareness part, there's a lot of support groups. There's a lot of support groups on Facebook that honestly for me it's great information, because it's just a lot of different people. For example, I think Madeline said she did PD. I actually did PD as well. That's what I did the first go around to try it out.
PD?
PD is the same as dialysis, but it's a little bit less on your body. You do it yourself at your home, so everything is done by you. They teach you how to do it, and it's like you got a tube that comes out of your abdomen, and so you basically you fill up your stomach with this fluid, and that fluid then sucks in all that toxins, and every 4 hours you have to release that into another bag, and then you just kind of like repeat that process. And then at night you do it, but you're asleep, so it does it while you're asleep, and it's it is very, very slow. So it's a lot less extreme on your body than dialysis. Dialysis really, really is different on your body. So when it comes to awareness, I would say definitely Facebook, just kidney support groups if you can find, donor groups, people who have donor. There's an actual donor support group for people that have donated. They basically tell their story, and so that way people are not scared of the donation part. Because if you're perfectly healthy, I think a lot of people are scared to just surgery, again, going to the doctors. But you never know. Like you can give someone an opportunity at a second chance of life, because it's you got your life back. Because right now, even if COVID wasn't around and all this, I really can't do too much, but other than on the weekends, and then I would only have Friday, Saturday, because I do dialysis in the clinic. And because I have so many issues, I try not to steer away from my mom or go away that far, if I don't need to, just because I just don't know what can happen out of town or something like that. But other than that, I think I do pretty well. Like I said, with the positive energy, I think positive energy just brings that energy, and then kind of like just brings it up. Even when I go to the dialysis, I'm always smiling. And even the nurses there, like, man, you always come in smiling. I don't leave smiling all the time, but for sure I come in smiling. But they everywhere I go, even Yashica said, they don't know that I'm on dialysis. Like you would never know unless I actually physically tell you that I'm going through something, or if you see my hand, you see the marks on my hand, then you may ask a question like, hey, what's those marks? And then, I can tell you. But other than that, I try to keep it personal. But this is a great platform, and I want to thank you ladies for bringing me on, and letting me share my story.
Thank you for coming. And we just so happened that he popped up on the screen because we have a pastor of positivity, or a professor of positivity, Dr. John Gray. And it's just awesome. Super positive. So when you said the positive stuff, it just automatically thought about him. But what I do want to do too, Dr. Angie and Dr. John, because he's listening, I want us to make sure we reach out to our other people, our other platforms who all have podcasts and things as well. I tagged a couple of people on here to make sure that we can continue and try to get your information out as much as possible. Because one thing that I learned from you too is that we have people that are on the list, they're on the donor list, but it's something about this platform like this, when we get out and we start talking, that some things just seem to move a little bit more. Because there was a situation where someone was featured here in Colombia on one of the news, the news shows, and then things just started happening. So I want us to be sure that everybody on here that's watching us, like, share, subscribe, and then drop it. And you on this Facebook thing, I get about every day somebody asking me to like some page, to like some group. You know what I'm ready to do? I'm ready to drop Louis in all of them. They're gonna get tired of me because I'm gonna put them in every last one of them. Let's share something that I don't know about the pretty nail and the eyelash people, but I'm putting Louis in there because I know about him. Luis in there because I know about him, right? So let's do that. Let's make a commitment among ourselves and say, you know what? We may not like and share every time that we get on here screaming like and share, but tonight on this show, please share. So you don't even have to like it, just share it. I don't care if you like it or not, just share it. Share it. Let's see if we cannot get more people, more people with the information, because it does no good if Angie and I are the only ones with the information. It does no good if just the viewers here, we're the only ones with the information. It matters when we send it out to the masses. So again, we're gonna be reaching out to the people we know, so we can get it on there. Maybe we can just keep on talking about it. And you thanked us for coming, for allowing. No, we thank you because you had. This was a story. I mean, this is something that you went all the way back to private stuff, and you let us talk. I like being transparent too, but you got a little bit more than she go from there, So I appreciate it. I appreciate your courage. I appreciate the strength, the faith. Of all you, your family, your mom. Because when I listen to your mom too, when I think about this, I was walking with Pele after I met you the night. I said, Pele, can you imagine a mom having to go through this with her son, and you don't know what tomorrow might hold. You don't know what the next minute might hold. So I say that's a true definition of a mother's love tested, because she's definitely tested, and she's standing in that gap for you to say, you know what, I know I got a voice. He has a voice. We're gonna help him. We're not gonna listen to, because if you think about it, if you had to gave up at 15. Look what we wouldn't have been able to be blessed with you all this time. And I know we just hit that 1 hour mark, and I'm babbling. So again, so I'm gonna let Dr. Angie come on in, and then let you close whatever we need to do to close out. So I'm gonna hush because I get long winded too. Don't make me start preaching up in here. Yeah.
So, Louise, I just want to just thank you so much for, again, sharing your story, being transparent, and more importantly than that, being positive and being willing to put it out there just how beneficial being positive is, because it really is. Your mindset matters. What a person's mindset is with regard to any situation matters. The more positive it is, the more likely that they will be able to overcome whatever that obstacle is, whatever that challenge is. It's about what happens here first.
Yeah.
And what happens in our hearts. So that's just so important. I'm glad that you highlighted that. I did want to take a moment out to just shout out your mom, because she has been your rock for many years. And as Yashica said, you know, a mother's love tested is one of those things that no one who is not a mother can really truly understand in that way. And to know that your mother is fighting for you every single day of your life is just an incredible thing to know, to remember, and to also use that as your strength. Use that as your thing that doesn't allow you to give up. You stay in there, you hang into the fight, because you got to do it not just for you, but for your mom. Yeah. And that's so important. And we all have, I just want everyone to know that we put these phone numbers up and so forth. I want us to make sure that we keep these phone numbers. Go back and look at the show during the replay, get the information, contact his mother, Yvonne, at 803-513-0166. And I did want to just, if it's okay with you, I would love to have a moment of prayer with you. And one of the things that I know for sure is that when two or more are gathered, he is present in our midst. And I just want to make sure that all of us coming together, there's 23 of us online right now. I want us to touch and agree that we may go to the throne on behalf of this family. So at this point in time, if that is okay with you.
No, that is perfectly fine. Yes, yes.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you giving you all honor, glory, and praise. Lord, this is the day that you have made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Lord, put that positive spirit in each and every one of us, that we may be able to use that positivity to grow, to become better, to see things from a positive perspective makes all the difference in the world, God. Next to faith, next to belief is positivity, God. So we thank you for those things, God. We thank you for your grace, your mercy, your favor. Lord, right now, I just ask that you touch this family right where they are, God. As they go through this struggle, let them understand that you are the healer of all healers, the surgeon of all surgeons, the Alpha and the Omega, for you are the beginning and the end, God, and the finisher of our faith, the author and the finisher of our faith. You write the story, God. And for that, we are grateful. We must just simply do our part. Have faith, have belief, and just hang in there, God, because we know that when your will is done, your way is done, there is nothing or no situation or no circumstance that can prevent us from finding the victory, God. We give it all to you. We, each and every one of us, ask that you just give us healing powers that we may be able to share with this family, God. Give us that positive spirit that we may be able to share with this family, that we may be able to be encouragers, God. Lord, we just ask that you touch us right now, touch all of us, but above all, God, give this family comfort, give this family strength, give this family the continued boldness and the courageousness that's necessary for them to be able to fight this battle, God, because we know that we fight battles all day, every day, God, but there is nothing too big for you. We give it to you, God. It is in the mighty and humbling and matchless name of Jesus Christ that we pray. Amen, amen, and amen.
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 So there was a lot here. I want you to keep us posted.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to make sure that we are up on what is happening, what your needs are. We mentioned early on in the show that there are expenses associated with this whole process. Even though you have insurance, there are expenses. Your mom mentioned that she was that she has to be there for 2 weeks. That's going to be an expense that we can help out. We can give something. So I want us to pay attention to mom's phone number, which is scrolling at the bottom, 803-513-0166. And as we follow that number, as we follow this situation, reach out. And by all means, one of the things that Yashica pointed out is that we are heavy in the numbers in terms of need, but not necessarily heavy in the numbers in terms of giving. Let's be donors. Let's be givers. If nothing else, if you can't bring yourself to do it as a living donor, at least do it as a deceased donor. And I don't know about in each of your states, but for New Jersey, it's a simple tick mark on your driver's license application every year. Just check it off. Yes, I want to be an organ donor. So those are things that we can do. Someone is asking if you have Venmo. So, Mom, if you could just jump in and let us know.
I have Venmo. I think I don't know if my mom has Venmo. She can probably put it to the side for that fund for when that time comes. But yeah, I have Venmo. I don't know if I can I type the Venmo?
Absolutely.
To my mom.
Absolutely. Put it in the chat box. And then also, did you all do a GoFundMe page?
No, we haven't done anything like that. We were supposed to do something like that when that time kind of comes, but I think we need to be proactive.
Yes.
So when that time does come, we are ready. So like again, my thing is I'm more here to create awareness and stuff like that, and show that there's a lot of people with this issue that you may not know of, and don't be scared to help donate and give, because at the end of the day, you're giving life to someone that needs it. Someone may need it. It may not be me. It may be somebody in your family that you know of, and you are a little bit nervous of doing this. But I hope that I kind of calm that a little bit. And if you have any questions, you can always ask me. More, and I can even have my uncle speak to them too, because my uncle was my donor, and he's living perfectly healthy now, running
his life, huh?
Yeah, he does marathons. He's just like nothing's ever nothing happened. You can't even see the scars on his body. So it's not nothing like that, nothing to be scared of. Again, I'm one to be kind of scared of the hospitals, but I've learned to cope with it, live with it, and I've learned to kind of keep it in a positive state of mind, because this can get depressing and this can be emotionally draining. But if you don't have the great support system, a good support system, I feel like I do, just with my friends and my family, my mom, my sister, my dad, stepmom, everybody that's around me. It's helped me. It's helped these years been a lot easier than if I were by myself.
Yes. And just to your point about being by yourself, I just want you to know that this chat box is loaded up with people saying amen, people who have touched and agreed in our prayer, and that are praying for you and pulling for mom, because we have to pull for mom too, because as a rock, when we are the rock, we need somebody to keep us strong, keep us faithful, keep us moving forward. So we pray for
my mom. I know my mom goes through it in her own, because she sees me and she sees, when she picks me up and she drops me off, she has to go through the same thing. Like, she's there when I'm not feeling well. So my mom is definitely is always, and my sister too. My dad was before my first kidney transplant, but I want to thank my sister too, because before I moved down to my sister and my brother-in-law were my caretakers. And if it wasn't for them and my nephews, would have been really gone crazy with everything that's gone down with me, this situation. But So I want to thank everybody, and then my friends that I have now that kind of every day like, hey, we're here for you, and we're gonna keep pushing for you. So
Yeah, so we thank you very much for all of that information. And people, if you are able to stay in touch with them, Louise, how can they reach out to you? I know you mentioned some Facebook information, some, is there a way that,
Instagram, I can't even type in my number, honestly.
yes, please.
Where's the chat box here? I need to, or maybe
Yeah, I usually do it on my phone because on a computer I can't see it.
Oh yeah, my computer I can't see it either. So I'm gonna type it into the private chat, and I guess maybe one of y'all can type it in.
Okay.
I just don't have.
So I did want to take a moment out just to acknowledge the many people who joined us for this show. Thank you so much for hanging in there with us, for being attentive, for being asking questions and giving encouragement and just being there for us. Yashica and I can just have a conversation without you all. But when you get involved, that's what makes the show the show. So thank you so much. Thank you. I see that there are people indicating that they are you're part of your support system. So you want to make sure this is your phone
I know
number.
a lot of these. So I'm glad they tuned in.
Your sister put your phone number in the box is 310-913-2070. So
70.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And also for some of them that because we
79, that's why it's 70.
Oh yeah, I did just type 70 because I put 79. So let me erase that. Yep, I sure did. We don't want to get the wrong stuff. No, we want the right stuff. For anybody that we're not catching and you want to, you could always inbox the show, message one of us, because we would definitely make sure we get the information over and get the things to you. And as soon as the funding, the accounts are set up, we will go right back and make sure you have it. And because we don't want to miss out on anything, and we're going to make sure that we stay connected as well, that we can do our part. Because again, like I always say, I want to die empty. I want to do my part.
Yes, I love that, Yashica. And that's
again. I want to thank you for this opportunity. It was amazing. So thank you so much for letting me come on the show, and tell my side of my story. And if anybody has any more questions, I know Madeline has gone through it too. But you're more than welcome to ask me. I have, I can talk, and I have stories for days, but I can definitely let you know about, the situation and, how to, if you need somebody to uplift you or something like that, I'm here. So.
Yes, absolutely. So, Yashica?
Okay, yeah, we're over with. And
thank you so much, Louise. I'm going to drop you down. Hang in there
for just a moment
for us. But thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, how powerful. What a story. Because thank you guys for staying on. We went a little bit over. when they're good, we just don't want to cut them off. We just can't. Sometimes you just have to let it go. It's almost like a church service. You just have to go into another one. Just do what you got to do. You can't.
Spirit.
There you go. You can't stop that spirit. You just have to keep on rolling. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, to everyone who shared, all those who liked and subscribed to Conversation for the Soul. We're going to make this an ongoing conversation, especially those conversations that are really, really good. Most of our conversations are good, but this one was like exceptional to me. That it was just something I learned a lot. I feel connected. It's just a lot that we just need to know and do. I always say do something different, do something for someone else. Make today better than it was yesterday, and make tomorrow better than it is today. So this is one way that we can do that, because if you're here and you're not giving and loving, then what's the point? It's enough. Trials and it's enough turmoil out there already. But if this group right here could just love and share and care, I think from one step at a time, one stone at a time, we can do better. We can definitely do better. I thank Louis so much for his story. I mean, my gosh, you just never know. But I do know that we can pray. I do know that we can love, and I do know that we can do something different. I do know that we can love each other and love somebody else. And I just want to encourage that this week. Please like, share, please donate. I know he was not asking, but we are asking. The show is asking to help this family out. Just do our part, because you just don't know how far $5 can go, $10. You just don't know. And so we're gonna go ahead and close out. And again, thank you guys for joining us. And just have a great week. And just come on.
Yes, absolutely. So we thank you all again, once again, for just being part of this show, being part of the process, because this is our purpose. This is the purpose that Yashica and I have, is to be helpful, is to be a blessing, is to inform. We want to inform people. We want to encourage people. We want to be a blessing. So thank you for giving us that opportunity. And we can only do that when you take part. When you do your part, we'll do our part, and the world is a much better place, because we're all connected for this. And I just want to, once again, just be mindful in your prayers throughout the rest of this week. When you're doing your gratitude list, remember this conversation. When you're doing your prayers and your meditation, remember this conversation for your own family, but also for Luis and his mother and his father, his family. Remember this family. Because when we lose one of ours, we lose across the board. So let's just keep everyone standing up in prayer. We love you. All right. Have a good one. As I try to go.